London. I think it's snowing in the Highlands, but here in Glasgow, it's quite dry. And it's the 19th of November, 2025. If you're watching the replay, you're most a warm welcome again. Maybe you're watching this from the summer. I am a maritime workplace coach. I'm Tina Kazuta. I'm an ex-seafarer turned coach, and I want to talk to you about difficult people. Difficult People Part 2. If you haven't seen Part 1, just go into my YouTube channel and you can watch those. And I want to talk about the different personality type and also gonna ask you about how difficult you are actually. How, we all what kind of personality types do we come across at the workplace? We come across with the gossiper, the bully, the egocentric, the controller, the narcissist. It's a big one. The drama queen. Ever come across a drama queen? I had a lady always going on the toilets. The ladies always go to toilets in pairs and doing their makeup and just making sure their hair looks nice. And the drama queen will always sigh loudly, "Oh, that's me again." And then if you're really an empathic person, you jump into that only to feel trapped into their web of victimization, and they never really seek solutions. So we have lots of different personality types at work. We have the lazy person that never want to participate, always comes in late and think, well, 9 to 5 and I'm out of here. We have the quiet ones that actually very withdrawn, and you think what's actually might not have noticed them very well, and they never really participate in team meetings actively. We have the passive aggressive person, and it's a little bit niggly wiggly with their answers and their ideas, and it's very somebody to watch out for. We have complainers, always the complainers and never really seeking solutions either. We have stuck in their ways, the older people that you think, oh, they're just, what are they still doing here? We have AI, we have new technology, and they don't want to know about it. Don't mess with the system that worked for 40 years in a great way, don't they? So there's perfectionists, there's the micromanager, we have plenty, and I will not name them all. And if we all individually handle them all, we will be here for another week. So I'm not going to do that. I have a different approach. And it is, as you're listening in as a leader or you're listening in as a person, that's fine. It's either way. There are different techniques to deal with personality types. You also can look up, and that's quite interesting, really, and I have it mentioned here, is something called the five-factor model of personality. They are personality types, and they're traits of personality that are grouped in five themes, traits, and we call it Ocean, very maritime. And that stands for openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Can't pronounce that. My fault. And you can do the test on the psychologytools.com. I have it open as well. And I did it a while ago. I'm not going to share it with you because it's embarrassing. And it sets off as five traits. And it would be really nice to let your team do the personality test. What is that? Do the personality test as well. That'd be really great. And I want to ask you as well, first of all, are you a difficult person? Do you consider yourself a difficult person? And don't have to answer that, of course. But, a difficult person is somebody that you are labeling as different. There might be introverts amongst us, we're extroverts, the neurodivergent people. I'm a highly sensitive person. That's also a type of neurodiversity. I'm an empath, and it's not always that it's very it's always very unique if you come across somebody who's exactly like you. If I meet another HSP, we bond together, we gel together. That would be the perfect team, wouldn't it? And there you're wrong, because the perfect team is a team that are people from different walks of life, different ideas. We have all kinds of cultures. We have neurodivergent people next to other people, extrovert, introverts. All these people have different communication styles. And they bring different ideas, and they, in a good way, if you manage it in a good way, their difference becomes exaggerated in like different ideas as well. We can come up with better ideas if we work with somebody who can poke us in our blind sectors. So to give you an example, used to work with a colleague for we developed e-learning courses together, and me and my colleague were very different personalities. I was very empathic, very from human soft factors, and he was very more of a scientific approach. And together I think we gelled well together because we would fill in each other's gaps and blind sectors, so that, and we were two different personalities. So think about that as well when you're meeting a difficult person. What's difficult for you? Like, you come across a micromanager and you have to work with them. But then you can also think like, okay, what's the good trait of a micromanager is that they're very perfectionistic. Often they're very on top of things. Well, use that annoyance into their biggest assets as well. Like how can I use that in a team working with somebody who's really micromanaging and a perfectionistic personality? We don't put two personalities next to each other that are exactly the same, because that often causes a fight as well in a team. You have a micromanager together with somebody who's more lazy, and but the lazy one can be a very happy personality as well. So they all complement each other in a way. So watch out for that. What's their, turn their biggest annoyances into something you can use for your own benefits. And more about that a little bit later. Well, you have bias thinking, similarly, similarity bias. That's something they called, and that is called same as me thinking. So we gel well with people that are similar than us, similar style of thinking than us. If you go into a network event and you have that, you think, oh my God, it's me too. And then you go have a cup of coffee together, and it's really nice to recognize yourself and to be acknowledged in your personality and your thinking. And that's the similarity bias. We look out for people with the same style of thinking because it acknowledges our righteousness of how we see the world is right. But in with difficult people are thus the personalities that are not similar to us. And that might not be difficult at all. That might be difficult for you, but not difficult for the other person. So you have cultural differences as well. So watch out for the people with a different type of culture than us. I'm Dutch. I'm quite known for my straightforwardness, and I think all people are equal. We are in type of equal thinking country. And in prime minister, if you're the prime minister or the king, he just cycles to work and he brings his kids to school as well. I don't care. And we don't have that kind of hierarchical culture that other countries will have. But I will still respect it immensely. And I'm very well aware of my own cultural traits. And in seeing other people as difficult who are hierarchical, and you have to work with someone who is like, I have a bigger experience level than you are, or I have a bigger job title and I'm senior to you, you have to respect me. And that can be really difficult. I used to come across some managers that I worked with that found they were sort of, it was not well, um, it was not, I could not speak to somebody senior above that kind of manager, above the manager that I was working with, because it had to go through them. and not go to the upper senior directly. And I thought, well, there's just, we're all just human beings and we work in the same company. Why can I not just speak to them? But there's hierarchy to follow. You have to, as you are a worker on the floor, you have to go to your manager and they will speak to their manager and they will speak to the CEO, things like that. And I found that really difficult to understand. But once I got to hang of it, I understood that we have to respect that. So it's not necessarily difficult. It's only difficult because I perceived it as difficult. So what else? Don't take it personally. I said that last time as well. Look out for the YouTube video before this and depersonalize the conversation and see how that works out for you. As I said, I'm an empath. I'm a highly sensitive person. I tend to feel and take in everything more personal than other people because I feel their emotions. But if I see it objectively and thinking, what's actually going on here? What is the purpose that we come together, and can I depersonalize the situation? It makes it easier for you to deal with, I promise. But you have to think about it a bit. And instead of avoiding people who are different, ask the question, be curious, ask questions. Like, so what is it that about the hierarchy? What kind of country, what's normal for you? What would you feel is respectable? Ask questions, be curious about where they come from, where did they grow up, what leadership style they feel content with, what they expect from you, and just ask questions and be curious about it. And that opens up the space as well and for mutual respect to work together, and then different personalities in the team that will complement each other. So we can, with good leadership and good teamwork, we need to respect each other. We need to trust each other. I have trust twice. That says to me, it's an error, but that says to me that how much I think that it's important that you need to trust each other. So there's an open-minded communication, and we have to listen actively towards each other as well, not just listen to respond or to react, but listen actively and just give them the space. I find that personally also very hard. I'm not always very good with that, and I learned to be better at this as well, especially when I was younger. Of course, as a coach, I am actively listening, and you need to be curious and open towards other, and it will raise team productivity. So respect, trust, communication, and listen actively and be curious and open towards each other will raise your team productivity and your own happiness and mental well-being. So it starts with you. It's not always other people that are you're surrounded with that happen to be difficult. You're also part of the difficulty culture. Other people perceive you as difficult, maybe because you're different. But with mutual respect, you can make things happen. So this is fun, and you can check out the website, the Big Five Personality Test, FFM, and I will post a link later on. What personality style are you? Do you know your personality style? Do you know what your own shadows are? Do work with the coach for this, because I love to work with you on to see where your personality style are maybe lacking or complementing. It's just about knowing yourself as a leader, knowing yourself as a team member, what makes you tick. And if I want to give a tip towards how can you work with people that you're really annoyed with, and there's really hard to work with, they might not listen to you, and you're well aware of all these nice presentation slides, you know what to do, you are trusting and respectable and open, but they don't give you anything back. You still have to work together towards a mutual goal. At least if you don't have to, don't worry. Then just don't talk to them, ignore. But if you do, what's the shared goal? And I've noticed in statistics, women are not as easy to filter out the personality difficulties as men. Men can still be very annoyed with each other, but can still easily work together and put it aside. I don't know why that is. And please, if I'm wrong, let me know. But you work towards your shared goal and change your perspective as well. Try to change your perspective. Look at it from a friend's eyes, or ask another team member, what do you think? And I had it once with a manager. He was really a hierarchical micromanager, and I didn't like him one bit. And I thought he was the most difficult man on the planet. And I really, really didn't like working with him. And a friend of mine in the department said, he's the nicest man I've ever met. And I was like, are we even talking about the same person? But that's the perspective change. And it's like, okay, why do you like that person so much? Why do you like this man? And then see if you can be a bit more open about, okay, I haven't seen it this way. Or, well, I understand for you is easy, but for me, it wasn't easy. Change your communication style. Are you aware of what your own communication style is? You can work with a coach to see what your communication style is. Are you, so you can change your leadership style. Do you talk to respond, listen to respond, or listen to react, and or do you listen to them to make things happen? We're always throwing biased filters over it as well to see what's happening. So this is a changing your communication style is well worth looking into if you want to move this further and move a little bit deeper. And read the room. Read the room. You walk into a day's office work, or you're on board the ship, read the room, what's happening. And by just silently observing, you can read the room and think already, like you can already pick out what's sort of personality styles people have, and what the frictions and conflicts are, and what's happening. And it's having sort of a level of silent awareness of this as well. So just be a mere, do some mindfulness exercises, be in the moment, and see what's going on. I like to read the room always in a network event instead of directly plunging into conversations. Take some slow, deep breaths and stand on the side of the room and just observe and see what's happening. And it's very important to be able to manage it all correctly. And are they reacting towards you or responding? How are people, be well aware of how people perceive you, and don't be afraid to ask. And yeah, of course, I need to say this, but avoid labeling and gossip. Gossip is nice at some points, but it also can be very damaging because you cannot undo the gossip. And the labeling, avoid labeling. I was labeled once on board the ship when I was a very young cadet, and my mentor on board was replaced by another mentor. He was going home. It was the end of his term. And he immediately, we didn't gel together well at all. He didn't like me. I didn't like him. And I had a really difficult time. And he immediately briefed the new mentor about me with all the labels that he perceived as wrong. And I didn't get a fresh start, and I didn't get a fresh chance. And I was very upset about that. And the captain was also quite upset about that, because we agreed that he would not tell anything about me, not label me as being maybe a difficult cadet, or not very bright, or not very this, or difficult in that. To avoid all those labels, to make his own mind about me and start fresh. Because I thought my mentor was biased because I was a woman, because I came from a different industry, because I was Dutch. There's a lot of labeling always going on. Think about it. If people at the moment with the migrants, and an accident happens and it's in the news, think immediately people label it. And immediately people think, oh, it must be the migrants, it must be that person, or it must be the foreigners. And I'm a foreigner in this country as well. So I always feel very well aware that we shouldn't give that head start to people, if that makes sense. Or that was it. I promised I would talk for half an hour only and stay on for questions. And please do download my toxic workplace test online. It also has a booklet, a little ebook about how to survive difficult people at work. There are some tips in there, some personality types in there, and some I'm going into some more details on that, as well as a quick bandage tip. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. I put some links in there as well. And for now, you stay on for questions. I love you. And if not, please text them in the YouTube channel as well. Contact me on my email, hello@tinagazook.com, or my YouTube channel. I have a LinkedIn channel. I don't have any TikToks. I don't do TikTok, but I have Instagram and Facebook. You can find me everywhere. And thank you so much for listening in your lunch break, and see you soon. Bye.